One way of representing imaginary numbers is on a coordinate plane. Now this might not be immediately obvious, but you know how when you have numbers, just normal real numbers, you can plot them on a number line. You can go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. So if you wanted to plot 3, you just go 1, 2, 3, and that, that's 3. If you wanted to plot -2, you just go over -2. That's your point. Complex numbers have the format a plus bi, so they have this real part and this imaginary part. And one way of representing that is to sort of take this number line and then add to it. So just like when you have two dimensions or two variables, you can make a coordinate plane and graph on there. When you have real and imaginary, you have two different parts to your number, and you can graph that on a coordinate plane with the horizontal axis being your real axis and the vertical axis being your imaginary axis. So if I wanted to plot or graph, whatever you want to call it, 3 plus 2i, well, the real part is 3, the imaginary part is 2, so we can represent that as the point 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, as the point 3, 2 on a real imaginary plane. That is the point 3 plus 2i, just going 3 points to the right, 2 points up on a plane where the horizontal axis is real, the vertical axis is imaginary. So it's pretty simple once you understand what you're doing. It's just like plotting on a normal coordinate plane. -4 minus 6i, well, that's a -4 on the real part, -6 on the imaginary part, so we're right down here. It's 4 spots to the left, 6 spots down. Pretty straightforward. Just one more example. If you go negative, also keep in mind, if you have a number that has just one part, you can still plot it on here. Say you wanted to plot -3. Well, there is no imaginary parts. That's the same as like saying it's -3 plus 0i. So if we wanted to plot that on our real imaginary plane, it would just be -3, the point -3, 0, which is just right on that real axis. We can go the other direction too. If you're given a point, say you've got a point right up here, and you want to give the coordinates of that point, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's 7 spots up on the imaginary axis, so that point is point 0 plus 7i, or just 7i. Or if we go, we look over here, plot a point right here. It might not be easy to see on your screen, but that's 4 to the left and 4 up. So that's just -4 plus 4i. The only thing to watch out for is if they switch up the order on you. So if you were going to plot, something like 5i plus 2, just make sure you realize that the order's been flipped. 5i, 2. So the 2 is the real part, the 5i is the imaginary part. So you would go 2 to the right because that's your real axis, and 5 up because that's your imaginary axis. And then right there, it would be, if you wrote it in standard form, it would be 2 plus 5i, that's the 5i plus 2. That's how to graph complex numbers.